Have you ever felt it? You walk into a room and there's this invisible current that can just completely change how you feel. It's this powerful social dynamic that's shaping our emotions every single day, and most of the time we don't even notice it. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly what it is.
I mean, really think about it for a second. Can you remember a time when you were having a terrible day and a friend's encouragement just flipped it all around? Or maybe you've been in a super tense meeting and one person's calm, steady voice just kind of settles the whole room down. That's the powerful exchange we're digging into.
And here's the thing. This isn't just some random coincidence or a weird social mystery. It's actually a recognized scientific phenomenon. Our emotions, it turns out, are deeply social. It's all part of our evolutionary wiring for connection and, survival. We're about to get into the science of how it all works.
So, what do we actually call this invisible force? It's time we put a name to it, because once you can name something, you can really start to understand it. And even better, you can get good at using it.
Okay, here it is. Interpersonal Emotion Regulation, or let's just call it IER for short. That's the official term for how we influence each other's feelings, sometimes on purpose and sometimes completely by accident. Comforting a friend? That's IER. Motivating a teammate? Also IER. Unintentionally stressing someone out? Yep, you guessed it, that's IER in action too.
Now, this whole thing might sound kind of complex, but what's so cool is that we can basically break EIR down into two main parts. I want you to think of them like two dials on a machine that you can adjust to figure out any emotional interaction you're a part of.
All right, let's check out the first dial. This one's all about the direction of the support. Are you doing what's called intrinsic regulation? That's where you're the one reaching out to someone else to help manage your own feelings, like when you vent to a friend about a stressful day. Or is it extrinsic regulation, where you're the one stepping in to help manage their emotions by, say, cheering them on?
And the second dial? Well, that one's all about how the help is delivered. Is it response dependent? This means your action needs a specific reaction from the other person to actually work. Like if you give advice, they kind of have to act on it for it to help. Or is it response independent, where the act itself is the support, like just showing empathy and listening? That doesn't really require any specific action back from them, right?
So here's the crucial part. Once you understand these two dials, I promise you're going to start seeing IER absolutely everywhere. This is not just some dusty academic theory, it's a fundamental part of our lives, happening all the time, from the break room at work to your own living room.
And what does this even matter? Because getting good at IER is basically like unlocking a real-life superpower. It helps build your emotional intelligence, makes your relationships so much stronger, helps us all manage stress better, and it's a total game changer for how we collaborate with people. It's a huge part of being successful socially.
Just think about your personal life. When you reassure a friend who's totally spiraling with anxiety before a big interview, you're doing extrinsic response-independent IER. You are actively making them feel better just by being there and showing you care. It's such a simple act, but the impact is massive.
And it's just as critical at work. A great manager who helps their team members see a failed project not as a total disaster, but as a learning experience for next time, they're using IER to build confidence and resilience. This is exactly why the best leaders are often masters of this skill. Okay, but here's a really important warning. Because IER is such a powerful tool, it can also be a double-edged sword. When it's used the wrong way, even with the best intentions, it can seriously backfire. It can fail spectacularly when we get over-controlling, trying to force someone to just cheer up. It also falls flat when we completely misread the room and offer a bunch of unsolicited advice when all they really wanted was for someone to just listen. This is where being self-aware is so important.
So at the end of the day, using this skill well really comes down to two things: awareness and empathy. Being aware of your own actions and being empathetic enough to understand what the other person truly needs, those are the absolute keys to making these emotional connections actually work.
So now you can see it, can't you? That invisible force isn't so invisible anymore. It has a name, Interpersonal Emotion Regulation, and you know the basics of how it works. So the only question left is, now that you know about this social superpower, how are you going to choose to use it?